pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good morning everyone. Thanks for coming in today. It's a beautiful day outside. We've got some good items here on the consent agenda: liquor licensing, beer permits. Got some employment contracts too. Did you say second? Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of these? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. So first thing out the gate here, I'll follow my script so I don't mess this up this week. We have a public hearing. Matt Wyatt, Director of Planning, Zoning and Development, and Pam Calstrup, Acting Director of Planning and Development. Discussion on proposed Potawatomi County Industrial Urban Renewal Plan. We'll need a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
Chairman Schultz.
Aye.
Supervisors Groby.
Yes.
Belt.
Aye.
Wickman.
Aye.
Okay, in public hearing. We are in public hearing. Was this when you were wanting me to read this, Matt?
Probably after we go out of the public hearing.
Yeah, that'll be for number 2.
Okay.
Anybody from public?
Yeah, anyone here?
No, motion to go out of public hearing.
Okay.
I believe. Hold on one moment
They
before you
can
do
still
that.
discuss.
So the out here's in Cluny is, since this didn't get on the city council agenda, they're recommending that the Board of Supervisors open the scheduled public hearing on the UR plan at its meeting, receive any comments on the plan, and then continue the public hearing and further action on the plan until the July 14th date. Action may need to be continued or deferred for a couple, and that's so if we go till the next city council meeting is July 13th. So if we do it until the 14th, then that would allow us then, but she says that in here that it may need to be deferred for a couple of Board of Supervisors meetings, depending upon how long it takes to get the city council, plus city council approval.
So motion to, you said to not postpone.
To continue public hearing.
Continue the public hearing until July 14th.
So how does that, do we just keep opening public hearing each meeting, you think, or we just?
It just stays open.
Public hearing each meeting, you think, or we
It just stays open.
Very sorry.
So then we would just, sorry, so we'd allow people to still like send in messages and things like that to comment on it. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so receive any comments on the plan.
Okay.
Is that your motion, Scotty,
Yeah.
to continue the public hearing through July?
July 14th.
Did you second that, Lynn?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have to go out?
Second by Groby. Well, we're continuing.
We're continuing.
We're just gonna leave this public hearing open
Yep,
You're gonna continue it, correct?
until,
July 14th.
that was Groby seconded. To. Okay. Motion by Belt, second by Groby to continue public hearing until July 14th. Chairman Schultz.
Aye.
Supervisors Belt,
Aye.
Groby,
Aye.
and Wickman.
Aye.
So then we will table the number 2 until that's dropped up, correct?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Okay.
C number 1.
Okay. So next on the agenda, Matt Wyatt and Pam, discussion decision to approve authorization for the chairman to sign Allers and Cooney PC's conflict of waiver letter between the city of Council Bluffs and Potawatomi County related to urban renewal and economic development matters.
So this came up due to the conversations over the urban renewal plan and the TIF discussions that we've been having. And since Alhiers and Clunies represents Potawatomi County in this matter, they also represent City of Council Bluffs in TIF matters. And they wanted to have this waiver of conflict signed, so then that way we could have a phone conversation with them on the phone and bring in the City of Council Bluffs planner, their attorney, and our office to work out what requirements it is that they're looking to place on us for these TIF matters.
Okay.
So, I make a motion to approve, that the county sign the letter between City Council Bluffs and Pot County related to the urban renewal economic development matters. Conflict of waiver letter.
Okay, is there a second?
Have they got the letter, Matt?
Yes.
Okay.
We need a second. Anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, so any other discussion on this one?
Yeah, I guess I don't really understand why the City of Council Bluffs needs to be represented by Ehlers and Cooney on this, Matt. You know, when the city works on their TIF projects, the county doesn't put any stipulations on what they do.
Well, Alhiers and Clunies isn't representing them in this matter. They represent them in other TIF matters, and because they represent us in this, I was hoping that Jenna was going to be able to describe to them the points at which we have talked to Alhiers and Cluny about how we're looking at this TIF structure to be. The city planning staff and the attorney were a little concerned about how we said we're gonna just take in 100% of the TIF dollars and pay for this bond. There was a misconception because of the way that they do their TIFs is that their developer always gets the TIF funds. So 60% of the TIF funds will always go to the developer when they do a TIF in Council Bluffs. And so I tried to explain to them in this thing, then I guess you would consider the county as the developer, because what we're doing is no different than when the Bentry water line went in. We're gonna bond for the amount of the project. We are going to use those TIF funds to pay off the bond. And then when the bond's paid off, TIF's done, and everybody gets to enjoy the benefits of the increase in tax base. And I said, what this does for us is it allows us on the county side, since this TIF's going towards the roads, then John and his department will get to manage the construction of the road, and then they actually get to take in a decent product rather than having a developer build the roads and then them get assigned to the county and fall apart within 5 years. And that concept seemed to be confusing them a bit. They didn't understand it. So I thought that maybe the attorneys would help them out. So when I contacted the attorneys about setting up a phone conversation with them, they said, well, hold on, we represent both sides, so we need this letter signed.
But the city council last year already approved this project.
Well, what they did was they waived their right of review.
Right.
They didn't approve anything, they just waived their right of review of it.
So now they're not waiving their right of review?
Now they just have some stipulations that they want to put on the TIF, which
But can they do that now, since they waived it?
Yeah.
Okay.
nobody's really understanding quite what it is, what stipulations they're looking to put on the TIF, because they're not really saying, they're just like, well, what do you want to do for the TIF? We try to tell them what we want to do for the TIF, and they're like, well, we don't understand that. And I'm like, well, give us what you want then. I said, if you want us to only take 60% of the TIF to pay for the bond, if you want the TIF to only go for 10 years, lay out what you're trying to do, so then that way we can work back and forth. Because I told you what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a bond for the roads, we're gonna do 100% TIF, we're gonna pay for the bond. If you don't like that idea, then come back at us and tell us what we need to do to get it to the council for approval.
They want the minimum assessment agreement also.
Yeah, and then they were wanting to review the minimum assessment agreements and things like that, which I don't understand. Maggie Barker doesn't understand. Nobody's understanding. Nobody has ever seen a city go at a county TIF like this from any angle. So we're not quite sure what's going on.
They don't have no skin in the game.
None. They aren't collecting any taxes on this property. It's in Potawatomi County. They don't have anything.
No.
So we're not sure where all this is coming from. The attorneys aren't sure where it's coming from. I mean,
Is there anything you need the board to do right now, or is it just, you feel like this, other than getting this waiver signed and?
no, just get this waiver signed right now. I mean, we've been having conversations we started conversations with the mayor, and so, I mean, he's up to date on what's going on, and I mean, I think that all the elected officials want this to happen. It's just, you know, the problem really comes in the positions like mine, whether you're in the city or you're in the county. It's easy to sit there and just say no or put out roadblocks. It's harder to say yes and help guide to get the process done, and I'm just trying to get them to the yes side.
Okay. Well, I guess my comment would be just let us know if we can help, and then, but for the sake of this, is there any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, signed. Okay, next we have the approval and authorize chairman to sign 2-mile limit area policy agreement between Potawatomi County and Council Bluffs, Iowa, adopted by the county on December 27, 1995, and adopted by the city in December 18th, 1995. That's weird.
You want to give a little explanation on this, Matt?
So the current 2-mile agreement that we had going on, the original study date started at that time. That agreement had expired in 2015. I brought it up in around 2016. Hey, the agreement's expired. Is there something, you know, can we start on a new study for it? And so we we jockeyed back and forth a little bit and finally got to where we could get a study put together that was really heavy on the engineering aspect of it. That's the study that's currently ongoing right now. That does a 3-mile look at the area outside around Council Bluffs. And this document right here was just signing it keeps in place the document that was there from 1995 through 2015.
It keeps it.
Till December of this year.
It keeps it till December of this year.
And then what's gonna happen?
The new study should be done by November of this year.
Okay.
Land use
So then
plan?
the document's gonna get, amended to what the study comes back, or?
When the new one comes in, then we will adopt that as the 2-mile agreement through the Board of Supervisors, through the City Council Bluffs. And so it'll go through the Planning Commission to the Board of Supervisors on our side. City side will go through their Planning Commission and then to the City Council and Mayor for everybody to sign off on.
But it's gonna be more than a 2-mile limit?
It's gonna be the 3-mile. The agreement will only be for the 2-mile, but we will have a 3-mile look at
Okay.
what's going on in there.
Okay.
And John's gonna fix all the roads in that area.
Well, this study is this is gonna have a way better detailed mapping of this. And it's also gonna include the feasibility portion of it on extending infrastructure out there. So we have numerous areas right now out in the 2-mile area that it's just not feasible to extend infrastructure out into. So why not allow a little bit more development on the rural side in those areas instead of pushing them out further east? And then it gives the city justification really on, hey, we can start to extend infrastructure up into these areas and expand our boundaries and, you know, by time frame, and it's gonna have time frame, cost, all those pieces in there. So there really won't be any more second guessing on what actually is a sensitive area that needs to be held for city annexation over something that we can put a couple more houses there. And
So the hope would be that they would be sizing stuff big enough for future development going whatever direction they go.
correct.
But it still doesn't address the existing issues that probably, and maybe it will, I don't know, you know, the wildwoods, the green meadows,
No, it does include those in there. We talked, they're gonna be individualized out.
it's gonna be talked about how to try to address those over time.
Correct.
Okay.
And individualized, so it's gonna point out, hey, Wildwood subdivision already has water, this is what it would take to get sewer in through there and be able to annex them in. And then the other ones that don't have water and sewer, what they need, and time, what it costs and things like that, cost estimates.
Scott, this agreement expired in 2015,
Right.
and it was one of the requirements that the city placed on the urban renewal project for Armstrong is that we update the,
Redo the 2 mile limit agreement?
No, the mayor signed this agreement to extend it probably about 10 months ago, and I have not brought it up to the board of supervisors until now to get it done, because Dick was finally over at the city, said he wanted it done before they sign off on anything for the urban renewal plan. He wanted this signed off on by the board of supervisors.
Okay. I'll make the motion to sign, approve and authorize chairman to sign the 2 mile limit policy agreement between the city of Pot County, Iowa, and Northwest Iowa.
Is there a second?
second.
Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, next we got the final plat of Carter's Acres subdivision in Garner Township and signing planning and zoning resolution 2020-07.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Chairman Schultz. Supervisors Wickman,
Aye.
Bell,
Aye.
Groby.
Aye.
Okay. Next, we got to approve the application for permit to display fireworks by Robert L. Caputo for Caputo Enterprises DBA Mother Goose Child Care and Preschool.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, next we got Grant, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so next we got Grant Anderson, Community and Economic Development Planner with MAPPA. We have the bid opening of single bid received for Carson and Macedonia for the downtown asbestos abatement.
Okay, yeah, so after 2 public bid attempts, just 1 bid was received from McGill Asbestos Abatement out of Omaha. I'll just go ahead and open this and read off the lump sum amount, and I'll state for the record that the time is 10:17 a.m. Okay. I'm seeing a total bid of $58,445. Based on what I know of similar projects that I've asked around about in the region, I do think that this bid amount is high. So I guess I would like to confer with the state and the project architect as to how to proceed. We originally had a application budget of, or a line item budget of $15,000 for asbestos testing and removal. A lot of this asbestos is located in windows and doors in the caulking. Again, so I would like to have a conversation with the architect and the state and see if there's a different way we can move forward. I think this bid amount is too excessive. So
Okay,
yeah.
sounds good. Thanks, Grant. So we've got the opening done, right?
Yeah. Yes. So I guess that would kind of negate the next item
Right.
on the agenda.
Okay, so we'll table that one until you come back with a new direction or new bid or whatever, so. Thanks, Grant.
He's got another one.
Oh, you got more? You have 2 bids or
Yeah.
one?
Just I'm sorry. Just one.
Okay,
Just one.
Item 3,
So,
Grant?
scheduled date for public hearing. Do you see that, Grant, the item 3, the initial?
Yeah, simply, there was confusion between the architect and I as to who would coordinate the public hearing notice. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see that it's published in this Thursday's non-pro, so it'll just state in the public notice that the hearing will take place on June 30.
Okay. Do you need us to vote on that then, or?
No, I don't
Okay.
believe so.
Okay, awesome.
Okay,
Thank you, appreciate it.
thank you.
Okay, next we have John Rasmussen, the current engineer. Discussion decision on to approve and authorize the chairman to sign right-of-way contracts with David L. and Joyce A. Cardell and Derek Cardell, tenant, regarding DLB VA09 project. What's this one?
This is for a right-of-way contract. We're gonna replace a bridge with a culvert. They're kinda on a dead end there by Hancock. We did one similar just a couple years ago. So we'll put a culvert under the bridge, backfill the culvert, tear out the bridge, and
It's on a dead-end road?
it goes back to a level B, so it's a pretty tough access for them.
Like an old wooden bridge or something, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's not in very good shape. I'm glad to see you working on that. I had a lot of people talk to me about it.
okay, need a motion.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
I'm second.
Okay, any other discussion about this one? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We're gonna take a 5-minute break so we can find Jason Slack. Is he out in the hall? Anyone know?
Did you need a motion on that bid opening? Item 1.
He's gonna take that under advisement and get back to us.
I bet he did open a bid. Okay.
I'll make the motion open.
You guys will do, that's fine. Scott?
I just didn't even, if you needed it for the record.
All right, for that one, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, I gotta go find Jason. I'll be right back.
Did Matt leave? Why?
Yes, just did.
There you go.
Are you gonna register for the NACO Town Hall and Business Meeting? It's all online stuff. We'll do, I don't remember, they're spreading it over 4 different
How's
days.
that bridge coming?
Right at 30% on it.
15th.
Should speed up here pretty quick. We're about out of the channels.
Yeah, they've been sending stuff out.
See, you're making hay.
All right.
My normal regional meetings.
Well, I think on the 13th is just a town hall. You listen to legislative update and Cindy and Denise will give their pitch for second vice president.
Yeah.
And then I think on the, and the 15th is, oh, wait a minute. 15th is the board of directors meeting. Ooh.
There you go.
Sorry, guys. It's on the 20th. We got the town hall on the 13th and then the business meeting's on the 20th. where they approve the resolutions for the steering committees and
Oh, yeah.
vote on Cindy or Denise. And then
He's here.
the Central Region meeting's on the 21st. But that's just
Fair enough.
find a new,
What's the word, Ted?
a new rep after Cindy
Busy.
leaves.
Did you forget? Did you forget?
No, I didn't. I just figured there was a lot of people ahead of me and, yeah.
All right. Jason Slack, current Director of Buildings and Ground. Discussion or decision on, to approve standard form agreement between owner and contractor Ronco Construction Company for Potawatomi County, Iowa Courthouse renovation project. Which, like,
Yeah, this is the B wing with the 911 area, the court security.
okay, is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Jason, what's the, can you give us a construction schedule and anything that's happened yet?
Submittals are into HGM for approval right now. They plan on setting some dumpsters, getting some material, getting some stuff in place this week. Again, construction starts on the 29th on Monday. So,
And 911 is already gone. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. Their offices are, it
They're
looks,
at the other side or whatever?
yeah, we had them moved out last week and we're in the process right now of getting our offices and shop area vacated. So we
Where
should
are you
be.
guys going?
Our offices, Daryl and our office is over in the services building in 102, corner office, first floor. Our tools are gonna be in about 5 different places, tools and equipment, so.
You Philip Avenue C then?
Avenue C is be one of them, yep.
I haven't been in there yet, I wanna see that. I've driven by it, but
Yeah.
6 years been on the board, I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, okay, any other discussion on this one? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alright, motion carried.
What date did you say they're starting?
29th. They're supposed to be finished by March 26th, that's their end date. So they have 270 calendar days to finish projects, otherwise it's,
26th?
yep. It's $500 a day, liquidated damages to the counties,
If they don't,
if they're not done by March 26th.
that's what we have to pay?
No, that's what they have to pay.
Oh, good.
keep in mind that, that was an estimated time and even liquidated damages. If there's a change in the plans, from the engineer, that adds days. So keep in mind that it might not be that day.
Bulletproof plan, right?
Well, it won't be liquidated damages with extended time from the,
Right, if there's change orders or something like that, that could change the date. They did build into $20,000 for change orders built into the contract, so.
Cool. Okay, appreciate it, Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Dave.
Okay, next we got Jana Limerick, Director of Human Resources, discussion decision to approve and authorize chairman to sign disaster compensation policy addendum due to COVID-19 pandemic. Jana, you're up.
Morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to add the addendum to our current disaster compensation policy to talk about the 4th of July holiday, to handle it the same way that we did as the Memorial Day holiday. I know that they're working on their schedule to try to make sure that as few people as possible are working, but there are chances that people will be working both on the observed holiday on the 3rd and then the actual holiday on the 4th. But in addition to that, the amendment talks about floating holiday and personal days. So you have, we have a handful of employees, maybe 4, that have not been able to use their personal day or their floating holiday, partially because of COVID. And so what we'd like to do is carry that over to December 31st. If they don't use it by December 31st, then it would be gone. As well as personal days, there's only one employee that the personal days would impact. Again, they